should you bet on in prime time this week? Welcome, football fans, gridiron gamblers, and every last one of you degenerates. It's Mitch here with my primetime picks for Thursday, Sunday, and Monday Night Football. I'm talking spread and total for each of the three primetime matchups in NFL Week 14. If that sounds good, don't forget to spike the like button and subscribe. Don't be a jabroni. Subscribe for more NFL bets and picks just like this. Also, let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree on my analysis. Let's begin with Thursday Night Football. And what I especially love about the primetime games this week is in not one, not two, but all three of the primetime matchups, I have a narrative to explore. I have a take about each team. I have a feeling about each game. This is rare, but I have an opportunity to back up my analysis, my discovery, my feeling with real picks, predictions, and money. And after all, this is Money Mitch, so let's talk picks. Thursday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys at the Detroit Lions. The narrative begins here. The Lions are not going to make the playoffs. The Lions are not the team from 2 years ago. They're not the team from last year. They're a different team. They're not as good. Let's break it down. The interior offensive line has been a problem all year. It was a problem against the Packers in week 1. And it's been a problem in some of their biggest losses of the season. The Chiefs game. The offensive line is not protecting Goff at this elite level that it was in 24 or 23. The Lions offense, because of that, is not the same in the passing game, and Goff is not the same quarterback. There's a reason they tried to get Frank Ragnow to come out of retirement. He couldn't because he had a third-degree hamstring tear, but there's a reason for that, right? Graham Glasgow also beat up. We have to see if he is available for this game. But what we do know, more than likely, Amon-Ra St. Brown will be out. That is absolutely crucial, critical for this game. He is their chain mover. He is their third down machine. He is the heart and soul of their offense. Without him, they're not the same. Jamison Williams, yes, very good. But no Sam Laporta either to block or throw the football to. Jahmyr Gibbs is electric. But if you can corral Jahmyr Gibbs and force Jared Goff to throw the ball to Brock Wright and Isaac Tesla, I think you got a pretty good opportunity to shock this Lions offense even in Detroit. And yes, they're better in Detroit, but they just lost in Detroit to the Packers. And I personally believe Dallas is better than the Packers right now. I personally believe that there are not many teams on one hand in the NFL that are better than Dallas. Dallas is very good. And so my narrative for this game is that Detroit is not the same. Not the same offensively as we broke down. Defensively, the problem is they're too much of the same. And what I mean by that is they're too predictable. Everyone knows what they're going to do. Man coverage. Man coverage. Man coverage. Every third down. Every third and goal. Matt LaFleur, bunch. Pick play. Wow, I'm shocked. Christian Watson over the top. Wow, I'm shocked. Sure, Kirby Joseph could come back and that helps them erase some of the big plays. But if Dak Prescott can progress through his reads, has time because your defensive front, your front four is not that great. Because you have Aiden Hutchinson and a lot of mediocre pass rushers around him. No one else that really threatens beyond Aiden Hutchinson. McNeil hasn't been the difference maker as expected. Their opposite edge rusher is just not great. So you look at the Detroit front four. They're not consistently getting home. So that means, okay, we might have to blitz every once in a while. That leaves our one-on-ones on the outside against really good receiving cores. A lot of the time, Detroit likes to rush four and play a lot of cover one, right? That's going to leave those one-on-ones on the outside. That cover one safety drops in the middle of the field, or maybe he shades to a receiver on one side, but that's going to leave at least one-on-one matchups on one side of the field. And when you look at Dallas, if Dak knows what coverage you're in on every third down, he is going to pick the right matchup and he is going to slice and dice you all the way down the field. The way that he's throwing the ball, how accurately he is playing. Plus, Detroit's not a very fast front seven. So Dak can move and he can scramble a little bit and he can find a guy down the field with that extra time to deliver the ball. Detroit's defense is just too predictable. It's talented, but honestly, their corners are susceptible. Terrion Arnold is now out on IR. DJ Reed is just returning from a hamstring. He looked fine against the Packers, nothing great. They don't have great corners on the outside. In fact, their best cover man is probably a safety, Brian Branch. So, Dak has CeeDee Lamb, one of the best man-to-man coverage beaters and separators in football. George Pickens this year is legitimately the number one receiver against man coverage. He's a size mismatch for DJ Reed. He's a size mismatch for Amik Robertson. Maybe Rocky Sin will have to take him, but Pickens is faster. Pickens is quicker. Pickens is going to make plays on the outside. And Detroit, they might have to double CeeDee Lamb. So then you got to deal with, okay, Turpin's fast. You got to deal with Jake Ferguson one-on-one with linebackers and or safeties. You got to deal with the run game of Dallas, which is good, and that balances the offense out. So Dallas is going to be able to move the ball. And I think they'll be able to throw it. I think their passing game should create some lanes in the running game. Dak is playing phenomenal football. He's far better than Jared Goff right now. Dallas loves playing in a dome. That's the style of team that they are. They're a fast team. They want to play through their speed and their tempo. That is not a bad idea for them, right? And then defensively, when you think about the matchup for Dallas, Dallas has a great interior defensive line. There is not many teams in the NFL that I would take that I believe are better at defensive tackle than the Cowboys. Quinnen Williams, Osa Odigizua, and Kenny Clark. It doesn't get much better than that. They're taking on Detroit's interior offensive line with numerous injuries. They're trying to get a guy out of retirement to play for them, right? And the way Clowney's playing, the way Ezraku's playing, the way that Overshone has looked since his return, Logan Wilson has fit in. Dallas, they might get beat a little bit underneath. Like Goff might be able to get the ball out fast and be able to move the chains with quick, decisive throws. I'm not saying Dallas is going to just completely erase a really good Detroit offense. But on critical downs, who do I think is going to get pressure? Dallas. Because of the offensive line in Detroit. Which quarterback do I think can make more plays outside structure? Dak. Which receiving core do I think is better? Dallas. Which run game do I think is better? Probably Detroit, but at the same time, is Dallas's run defense not just really good right now with Quinnen Williams added to the group? So they should have a decent idea there. Plus, Matt Eberflus is this former Chicago head coach who played this Detroit team numerous times, this offense numerous times, has a pretty good understanding of what they like to do and be. He has an understanding inherently. So this, to me, in a critical game for Detroit to keep their season alive. Some people think this is a little bit of a letdown spot for Dallas. But to me, it's like, No, Dallas, there is no letdown spot. Dallas needs to keep winning to stay alive in the playoffs or to win their division. They're still alive for that stuff because Philly is faltering. Dallas is on fire. There's a real belief and energy in that organization. Detroit's the one where they're questioning what they are, what they're doing, if this is going to work on a weekly basis. Oh, Ben, look at him in Chicago, what he's doing. We're not so sure right now. We don't got St. Brown. We don't got Sam Laporta. We're not the same. We don't have that level of confidence. Goff doesn't look as sure of himself as Dak Prescott. And yeah, Detroit, I kind of fear that home field. I kind of fear the energy of that crowd. But everything about the football game kind of makes me believe that Dallas is just going to sustainably do what they want on offense a little bit more than Detroit, and that will make the ultimate difference. I think Dallas can just throw it a little bit better. I think that Dallas can just get a little bit better pressure. So I think Dallas is the side here. I think Dallas is the side. 54.5 is a lot of points. It is a lot of points. But I would not advise you to take an under because I just feel like Detroit at home scores, even with their limited personnel, they should still be able to score. And Dallas for damn sure is going to score. So this game could definitely be like 30-27, 31-27, 31-28, which that's an over. 34-27, it definitely could be an over. I think if it is an under, it's because both teams go on long, deliberate drives, and the offenses kind of make the game go under, even if they're moving the ball. And the fourth down failures of Detroit can come back to bite you in the butt if it goes under. So I don't know if I could necessarily advise an over at a number as large as 54.5 when the Lions have mismatches. Their interior offensive line is not good. I fear that. Their receiving core is not healthy, so I fear that. And as much as I like Dallas's offense, Detroit is at home. And if the refs play it a certain way where Detroit plays their man coverage and they tug and they grab and they don't call flags, that's where this game could go under. So if anything, I would actually maybe, that's just a lot of points. A fourth down here, a fourth down there, knowing Detroit it doesn't work, could be like 31-20 for Dallas. Like, I wouldn't be surprised by that. So it could land around 53-54. So I don't know if I could advise an over with that big of a number, but I do like Dallas. I do like Dallas. I think Dallas is the better team. I think Dallas is just as talented, if not more talented. I think they know their identity. And I think that Detroit just doesn't have the offensive personnel that we're used to seeing from them, which is really going to hurt them in a big game. Who is Jared Goff going to throw to on third down? Out of the backfield, Jahmyr Gibbs or Jamison Williams? Jamison Williams is a great receiver. He's a very good talent. But the thing is, he is not a chain mover. Like, him getting 15, 20 targets in a game, I just don't see it happening. He's more of a blazer and a burner. He's not over the middle, third down and 12, take a hit, catch the ball. Like, who's that guy right now for Detroit? I feel like we've got 3 on Dallas. So give me Dallas in this game to win the game. But I definitely like the 3. Now, Sunday Night Football is also really fun. We've got the Chiefs and the Texans. Like Detroit, the Chiefs' life for the playoffs is on the line. This game dictates whether or not the Chiefs can make the playoffs. And as somebody that doesn't like the Chiefs, roots against the Chiefs actively and openly, I want them to lose. So take that with a grain of salt as I break down this game. That being said, okay, Houston should be terrifying to the Chiefs in this game because the Chiefs probably will not have, and not even probably, certainly will not have their left tackle and their right guard. 2 of their 3 best offensive linemen on their team are out. And why is that terrifying against the Texans? I think you can figure it out. When you have to block Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, Danico Autry, Sheldon Rankins, you got Barnett coming off the bench, right? Like, this pass rush is ridiculous. We saw them sack Josh Allen 8 times, and this game is in Kansas City. But does the cold not actually help the Texans, considering how ridiculous their defense is? And we know the Chiefs are not a great running team. So are they going to be the team that just runs all over Houston? Which, like, at times we've seen teams can get a run here or there, like the Bills against the Texans. But it doesn't happen all that often. You know, Jonathan Taylor didn't have a very good game. And the Texans still dominated that offensive line, which is much better than the Chiefs' current version. Like, so I think everyone will be on the Chiefs here, where it's like, or a lot of people. I think there's going to be a lot of people on the Chiefs because I think a lot of people are going to look at this like, oh, the Chiefs beat the Texans twice last year. It's a fact, right? They need this game to make the playoffs. If they lose, they're basically out because the Texans could, that's another team with an edge on them in the wild card race in the AFC, right? But I think what people are missing about this game is the injuries to the Chiefs offensive line. Jawan Taylor is even beat up at right tackle. So there is a possibility for 3 backup offensive linemen against the best defense in football. And Patrick Mahomes does not survive that, as we know. Patrick Mahomes with backup offensive lines is one of the worst quarterbacks we see in big games. I mean, he always is. Like he gets it in his head and he falters. I mean, look at the Eagles and the Bucs Super Bowls. Like, and the Texans defense is on that level, if not better. So basically the Chiefs need to win this game through their defense, in my opinion. Because I don't think, Rashee Rice has been playing great. I don't think he's going to go anywhere in this game. Derek Stingley is phenomenal. Like, I don't think D'Amico Ryans is going to let Rashee Rice beat them. So, like, can the Chiefs run the ball? Can the Chiefs get some quick throws and rhythm? I don't think it'll be consistent. The offensive line is going to be too much to overcome on that side. So they're going to have to win through defense. And when you look at the Chiefs' defense, they are much better at Arrowhead. That's for certain. They are, I think, a problem for the Texans in terms of their creativity. We saw last year Houston really struggled against George Karlaftis. They really struggled against the blitz of Spags. And that kind of proved to be the downfall of Houston in the playoffs. But Houston also didn't have very good weapons at wide receiver. They had a much worse offensive line. And I do feel like Houston is playing a lot more with a rhythm, a lot more with an identity on offense this year than they did last year. I think that they have a little bit more balance in terms of like early in the year, they're running the ball better with Woody Marks here. I think they have more depth of playmakers. Like you've got Nico Collins, who the Chiefs are going to have to double, and or McDuffie is going to have to take him. And I think Nico's size can make plays just as Pickens and or Lamb did against McDuffie at times. And then you've got Jaden Higgins, the rookie's playing well. Dalton Schultz at tight end is playing well. Christian Kirk is playing well. So all these guys are kind of playing pretty well. The offensive line, I think since they've put Trent Brown in there, has been a lot better, in my opinion. And I just kind of feel like, I haven't seen Davis Mills or CJ Stroud in recent weeks like be overwhelmed by pressure the way that I did early in the year. Their offensive line early in the year was bad, right? You look at it like Ursery has played well. Howard or Brown has played well. Their interiors, you can get their interior. Like Chris Jones could make some plays in this game. But I think there was some... Houston kind of had a little bit of a formula last year against the Chiefs in that first game where they were getting out quick throws. And I could see like a quick, decisive passing game doing pretty well against the Chiefs. And if the Texans can have a little bit of early down success, that's going to keep Spags out of his blitz packages, which that plays inherently into the Texans' hands. Because if the Texans can avoid 3rd and 6 plus, the Texans will win this game. That's what it's going to come down to. But, I expect it to be a lower scoring game. I would go with the under. The numbers actually moved from 41.5 to 42. I would take the under. I think this is going to be like a 21-17 game. Something like that. Like 42. So they're expecting like a 23-20, 24-17 type game. I think the Texans win. I think it's under. I think that the offensive line of the Chiefs will crumble. I think the Texans defense will dominate. And I think that CJ and the Texans offense will prove to be just a little bit more mature and a little bit better than last year. They won't be catastrophically bad. That's what I'm banking on. Against the defense in the Chiefs, that their four-man pressure has not been consistent all year. They have consistently faltered in the fourth quarter and in big moments all year. And they need to blitz to get pressure. And I think that does leave openings for Nico Collins and others to make plays. So, I like the Texans. I like the under on Sunday night. Another one of my takes here is just that the Texans are a dark horse. And I'm leaning into my takes in week 14. First take being Dallas is really good. Detroit's kind of overrated. Second take is I actually think the Chiefs are pretty good, but the Texans are the best defense in football, one of the best we've seen, and they are a dark horse if their offense is decent. And in the last couple of weeks, they're manageable. So that's a game that I want to lean into, especially at 3.5. How many points are the Chiefs going to score? 20? 3.5 is a great number to take the best defense in football with. Monday Night Football. The total is low. 40.5. Philly is favored by 3. Now, we don't know the status of Justin Herbert. And actually, while I record this, I am going to get an update on Justin Herbert. I'm recording this on Tuesday night. Okay? I'll probably be posting it as well on Tuesday night. So, Justin Herbert, I think it's his left hand. Now, he is a right-handed quarterback. He had surgery on his hand. Okay? It does appear that he'll play. I don't see anything that makes me believe he won't. That being said, I really want to take the Chargers in this game. And the reason is I want to fade the Eagles to oblivion. I think the Eagles are done. I think the Eagles are 2023 downfall ready. I think they are falling apart. I've seen too many signs. The Eagles offense, what do they do well? Throw the ball up to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Other than that, what do they do? They have about 5 plays. Hurts is super overrated. The play calling is vanilla and predictable. They're playing against an incredibly smart defensive coordinator in Jesse Minter, who is one of the best in football, head coach candidate, young guy, savvy, smart. He's going to have some creative ideas to get after the Eagles in a unique way that they may not have seen at all before. The Eagles, in a game in which they win, you would think they would need to be able to run the ball. And they have just proven to me they can't run the ball on anyone. They couldn't run the ball in Chicago. If you can't run the ball in Chicago, sure, you ran it on the Giants. Everyone has. Right? Everyone has on the Giants. But other than that, Chicago, who's like bottom 3 against the run the last 2 years. If you can't do it against Chicago, what makes you believe you could do it against Khalil Mack? The Chargers' run defense has been their biggest issue on defense. Their pass defense is very good, especially with their new and healthy pass rush post-bye. Their pass rush is actually pretty good, right? They've got Mack, they've got Thule, they've got Owe, they've got Tart. They've got some players up front that can make some plays. Lane Johnson, what's his status? May he be back this week? Maybe. Does it change anything? Yeah, it changes their pass protection. But their pass protection has not really been a huge problem the last couple of weeks. It's Jalen Hurts not making tight window throws. It's the predictability of their play calling, and it's their lack of run game. And I look at the Chargers defense, I think they're going to be able to stifle the pass game of the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles are going to get much in this game in the pass game because the Chargers are a very well-calculated coverage unit. They are very good against the pass. They do not have issues. If I were to just look them up from a statistical perspective, Derwin James could basically take Dallas Goedert out of the game if they want to match up that way. They do have good safeties. So the Chargers defense is second in yards allowed on the pass game and fifth in net yards per attempt. As an overall defense, they are 11th in points per drive allowed, 6th in yards allowed, and 7th in plays allowed, and 10th of time of possession. And then you look at the real big worry for me for the Chargers here is their offensive line. Can their offensive line be decent enough against a really good Eagles front? That is the ultimate X factor of the game. We've seen the offensive line of the Chargers play poorly in one game out of the last month or so. And that was Jacksonville, where they were horrendous. And Herbert played terrible against Jacksonville. Okay? Can Jalen Carter dominate the game? Can Jordan Davis, Ajomo, Jalen Phillips dominate the game? That could happen. But I don't expect the Eagles to score a lot of points. 40.5, it's going to be floating right around that number. In fact, I think it could be lower scoring than that. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. At the same time, I like Herbert more than I like Hurts. I like the run game of the Chargers more than I like the run game of the Eagles. Last week, the Chargers ran for 192 yards against the Raiders. And the Raiders are actually, if they do one thing well, it's run defense. The Raiders defense is third in yards per attempt against the run. They're actually pretty good at run defense. So you've got Greg Roman, who is a, Baltimore, San Francisco, Colin Kaepernick, Lamar Jackson, all that. Really good run schemer against a front that just allowed 270 rushing yards against the Bears. Again, an offense without the quarterback run threat. So is there a formula there for the Chargers to run the ball on the Eagles? If you do overcommit to stopping the run if you're the Eagles, that's just allowing Justin Herbert some simple play action shots to guys like Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston, their tight end, their young rookie, and Keenan Allen. I think Quentin Johnston could have a big game here if he's the one that Adoree Jackson is covering. I think that he has the size and speed advantage there. Physicality advantage. So I get the home team. I get a defense and a coaching staff that I think is going to outcoach the other team. I get an elite pass defense against a terrible pass offense. I get the better passing offense. I get the better running offense. I'm not sure why the Eagles would be considerable favorites or you would back the Eagles other than the Eagles pass rush. But if the Chargers can run the ball enough and keep that at bay, if Herbert doesn't just turn it over like he did against Jacksonville, then I think the Chargers will be able to stay in this game with 3 points. You never know what's going to happen. I don't think the Eagles are capable right now of blowing a good team out, which I think the Chargers are still pretty good. They're definitely better coached than Philly. And Philly is just there's nothing they're doing right now that I'm sold by. Maybe their pass defense, but is that not because they, against the Bears, Caleb sucks, first of all. And then you have, they were not stopping the run. So the Bears were just running the ball on them all the time. So, and if that happens for the Chargers, Herbert's going to connect on those one-on-ones. So I don't know. I kind of think the Eagles are toast. I kind of think the Eagles are super overrated, and I think they are done. I think they are finished. I think they're going to lose this division. I think they're going to lose 3 games the rest of the year. I think they can lose to the Chargers. I think they can lose to the Commanders. I think they can lose to the Bills. And I think they'll be out of a playoff spot. I think they are free-falling right now. And I am going to take that take, and I'm going to take that to the bank. So, yeah, it's a soulful, take-filled primetime breakdown, guys. I'm not heated, but I'm passionate about this week of games, as you can tell. So I hope you enjoyed. Gronk spiked the like button. Don't be a jabroni and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video. Wednesday, my picks for the week come out. Thanks for watching. Peace.